welcome to AGK's Music Life. I'm your host, Anthony K. And I'm back with a vinyl video. That's right, a vinyl video. The last video I released in vinyl-wise was, of course, the Record Store Day Black Friday video. But this time I'm back to show you guys my best albums of 2024. That's right. It's a little bit late coming. I normally get this one out right around New Year's. But I'm so busy these days with other projects. I'm a live streamer on another platform now. Nothing related to vinyl, and that keeps me very, very, very busy. And of course, as you guys know, I decided to take a slightly different direction with my channel in 2024, providing you guys mostly with concert films. And I'm just so thankful that my Iron Maiden concert film has had well over, I think, 92,000 views to date and is still going. Will it hit 100,000 views? We will see. So my concert films have been doing well. I think the last vinyl video before my Black Friday video was one I did back in the summer. So I'm long overdue for vinyl videos. And I do have a couple that I'm going to really try to get out in the next month. Of course, this one, I do want to do the vinyl tag next. And I will be filming that this week. And I have a couple others planned. But finding time to film videos is really hard these days because I'm just so busy with other projects and communities and things. But I can't let a year go by without showing you guys my favorite albums of the previous year. I normally get this video out around New Year's Eve. In previous years, I've always dropped this video. I'm a couple of weeks late this year, but I have got here 25 albums for you guys. These are all new studio albums that came out in 2024. No reissues, no live albums, no singles, no EPs, no CDs. Strictly new studio albums that came out on vinyl in 2024. And I normally pick up 40 to 50 new studio albums. Last year, I drastically decreased the amount of vinyl I bought last year. I did no crate digging last year. I bought no used vinyl last year. The only vinyl I bought in 2024 was new releases or reissues, remasters, etc., live albums. Only new stuff. I did no crate digging at all in 2024. Just because my used vinyl collection is where I want it. There's nothing I really want now for it. I mean, if I did see something out in the wild that was really rare and valuable to me personally, maybe I'd grab it. But 2024, no used vinyl. I cut back on my vinyl buying. I need to save money. I am retired now, so I have to be a little more spendthrift. And vinyl prices, of course, are skyrocketed. I bought approximately half the total music items in 2024 than I had done the previous year. That's right, half. I'm saying, cassette, CD, vinyl, singles, whatever. Total items, I bought half the amount I have bought in previous years. That's how drastically I cut down my vinyl buying. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. And these I picked, like I said, I normally pick up 40 to 50 in previous years' new releases. This year, barely 30. There wasn't as much this year that I really wanted to spend that money on because vinyl, like I said, is pricey. So I was a little more picky as to what I picked up. So this year, I picked up not quite 30 new releases this year, of which I've narrowed it down to 25 for you guys. My favorite 25 new releases. These aren't ranked. I know in previous years I've done a ranking. This year I'm not doing a ranking. I'm just going to show you the two, except for the #1 album of the year. That is hands down, no question, my favorite album of the year. That'll be last. Best album of the year as far as I'm concerned, the one I recommend to you guys over anything as a must-have in your collection. But all of these are fantastic. I recommend all these. I wouldn't be showing these to you guys if I didn't recommend them. And these are my favorite 25, and these are in no particular order. Just remember, no particular order at all. These are my favorite 25 new studio albums released in 2024. And like I said, these are in no particular order. So what I actually have them in order of is here is when they came out. So These are kind of just in chronological order as to when I added them to my collection, when they were released, etc. So it was easy to go through my Discogs and look at 2024 and go back through it. So they're pretty much in the order of when they came out. First up is from symphonic metal band Metalite and their 2024 release, Expedition 1. That's right, Metalite and Expedition 1 symphonic metal band. This is a conceptual release. It is very limited on vinyl. Only 500 units were released. 500 were pressed. Fabulous symphonic metal Expedition 1, a sci-fi story. Really, really great stuff. Metalite, symphonic metal. And this was on a beautiful colored vinyl, I believe, too. Let's just pop one out for you guys. It's on a beautiful blue vinyl. Translucent. So Metalite, Expedition 1. Some great symphonic metal from 2024. Next up is a band that you guys, most vinyl viewers, will probably know. They are Judas Priest and their brand new album, Invincible Shield. I always think Invisible. Invincible Shield from Judas Priest. Another one of the great releases that came out in 2024. This is a really, really great outing from them. It shows these guys have still got it. Judas Priest, Invincible Shield. Released, I think this was released around March of 24. Next up, long awaited, and I really, really like this album. This is as good as any Maiden album for me. I love this album. And this is my favorite solo album by this artist, Bruce Dickinson, The Mandrake Project. And I believe this came out in March as well. Bruce Dickinson, The Mandrake Project, a really, really great spin. And of course, Bruce Dickinson, for those that don't know, is lead vocalist for Iron Maiden. And this is a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous spin. Highly recommended. Bruce Dickinson, The Mandrake Project. Fantastic stuff. Next up, an artist that I had worked with a number of years ago in promoting her material. Canadian independent symphonic metal artist. This album has been 5 years in the making. 5 years in the making, this album. Lee. And she has returned with The Glory and the Fallen. This is my crowdfunding pre-release, crowdfunding version. It's on an exclusive vinyl and it is autographed by Lee herself. And I love her. She's got an amazing voice. I've talked about her many times on my channel. Lee, her brand new symphonic metal release, The Glory and the Fallen. And what I really, really love about this album is it features two players from one of my favorite symphonic metal bands of all time, Delane. It features the drummer and guitarist from Delane are on here. So that is a thrill, because people that watch my channel know that Delane's latest studio album from 2023, Dark Waters, was my #1 album of the year. So to have a couple members of Delane playing on her new album is fantastic. Lee, The Glory and the Fallen, definitely one of the best albums of 2024 for those of you who love beautiful symphonic metal. And she's from Canada right here. Canadian symphonic metal artist, independent artist. So please support independent artists. Next up, brand new album from Miss Ariana Grande. Love this artist. This is very pop flavored. There's some real tributes to like early Madonna on here. But she runs the gambit on this album. It's much more of a pop flavored album than an R&B flavored album, which was her last album. Of course, Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande. And this was a web exclusive edition. One of a number of different variations of colors and covers. But Ariana Grande and Eternal Sunshine, and the title, of course, being taken from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind of that film. So Eternal Sunshine, a really, really great spin from Ariana Grande. Definitely one of the best releases of 2024, hands down. Next up, a brand new artist, her debut album. Really love this spin. And it's actually coming out in a deluxe edition, which I think I will pick up this year. I think it comes out in March in a deluxe edition on the 1-year anniversary of release. Debut album from African R&B pop R&B artist Tyla, and it's her debut album. She was Grammy nominated. So check it out, Tyla. I think it's just a self-titled from her. Yeah, it's a self-titled. Tyla, check it out. Some really nice pop, R&B pop. And she's a South African artist. I think South African. She's definitely African. I believe she's a South African artist. Tyla, check her out. She was Grammy nominated. So check this lady out. Really great debut album from her, simply entitled Tyla. Next up, Nonetheless, as you guys know, one of my top 3 favorite artists of all time released their brand new album this year. It's fan-freaking-tastic. I'm not just saying this as a fan. I'm just saying I'm saying this as it's just a really great work. It harkens back to some of their earlier styled stuff, like the Being Boring era of music. It's Pet Shop Boys, and Nonetheless, definitely in my probably in my top 5 albums of 2024 if I were to actually rank it. I love it. Just a great spin. I did a whole video on this album earlier in 2024 when it was dropped. I did a whole video. Check the video out I did about this album. It is just a fabulous spin. Minimalistic artwork, just like Pet Shop Boys always do. One-word title like Pet Shop Boys always have. Nonetheless, fabulous spin. Love it, love it, love it. Pet Shop Boys, Nonetheless. The next album is the return after her 2020 album, which was my #1 album of the year. Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia, hands down, was my favorite album of 2020. I have spun that album probably more than any other album in the last 5 years. I just love it. It came out during the pandemic, and it was my album of the pandemic. It made me feel good when we were all locked down and everything and depressed. That album always made me feel good. So this is her follow-up after, close to 4 years later. She finally released it. Is it as good as Future Nostalgia? Hard to say. I haven't spun it as much as Future Nostalgia. That one, like I said, we were in lockdown. I've been much more busy this year, so I don't get time to even listen to music like I have done in previous years. But it is definitely in the top 10 albums of the year, for sure. In the top 10 albums of the year. Dua Lipa, Radical Optimism. Absolutely love this album. She has returned in fine form, and it's a really, really great spin. Worthy of having in your library. Absolutely in the top 10 best albums of 2024, hands down as well. Dua Lipa, Radical Optimism. Next up is the second outing for this band. Of course, this band was originally created by Phil Lynott of Thin Lizzy. And it was the band that never came to be. And a few years ago, they released their debut album, which featured a lot of Phil's songs on it. It was a really great hard rock spin. They're back with their second album, which does feature another of Phil Lynott's songs on here that he had penned for Grand Slam back in the 80s. Grand Slam, Wheel of Fortune. Their second outing, an incredible spin, just straight up classic hard rock and roll. And I believe the song on here, I can't remember which song it is that Phil penned. I'd have to look at it, but I'm not going to do that now. But one song on here was penned by Phil. Wheel of Fortune by Grand Slam. Their second outing. Really great spin. This is, I believe, her third album. This is the third album I have by her. I believe it's her third album. This is an autographed edition I picked up from her website and pre-ordered from her website when it came out. Pop artist Fletcher. I really, really dug her last album. It was so freaking good. And this album is no exception. This album is another great, great spin. It's called In Search of the Antidote by Fletcher. some really, really fantastic modern pop, singer-songwriter stuff. Fletcher, I highly recommend her. I am really happy with the work she's been putting out the last couple of years, and this is no exception. Fletcher and Antidote, In Search of the Antidote. Next one up. This artist, I am a big fan of this artist. I've got all her albums on vinyl to date, over the last, that she's released over the last over 10 years now. And this album is without doubt another real masterpiece. Of course, her last album, Crash, was a favorite for me. And she's back again, Charlie XCX and Brat. That's right, Charlie XCX and Brat. This is just some incredible dance pop. Charlie XCX is just really in the height right now. She just knows what she's doing. She's a fantastic artist. She's really come up over the years and needs to be recognized. And this is an incredible spin from Charlie XCX, Brat. Check it out. Another record that I would recommend is in the top 25 new releases of last year from my good friend Mark Anthony K, otherwise known as Project Gemini. His latest release on vinyl, What's on Your Mind. And I really enjoyed this release. It's on, what color vinyl was this one on? It's on my favorite color, purple. It's on purple vinyl. Happy to have copy number 2. Thank you, Mark, so much for copy number 2 of the album. He only releases 100 of his albums. Canadian independent artist, Project Gemini. And I really like this spin. I rank this one up high. He's got quite a few albums now, and I rank this one very high. It's the shortest album he's released to date. It only runs in around 34 minutes or so. The songs are short and sweet. No big long epic 10 or 15 minute songs on this one. They all run in from anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes. And it's only got a total of 6 songs on it. And I like it. I like this. This is different than Mark's put out before. The songs are very accessible, very radio friendly even. A really fantastic spin from Mark Anthony K and Project Gemini. What's on Your Mind? I highly recommend this if you can still get a copy. I know Mark always has CDs. Check him out. I've always been a massive supporter of Mark and Project Gemini material. And he's got a new album out now, which is currently in the pressing stages. Hopefully I'll be able to show you guys the CD and vinyl version of that one day soon. He does have a new album out. But from 2024, What's on Your Mind? Fabulous stuff. Next up, a band I discovered in 2023 and fell in love with. They actually opened for Delane when I had seen Delane, and I'm going to see them this year in March as they headline their own show this year. They are European symphonic metal band, Visions of Atlantis, with the fabulous Clementine Delancey on vocals. What an incredible voice this woman has. And this is their brand new album, Pirates 2, a follow-up to their Pirates album of a couple of years ago. This is Pirates 2. This was the limited edition pre-order version from their website. It's on a gorgeous vinyl, gorgeous colored vinyl. Definitely. It's a marbled vinyl, and I highly recommend this album. Incredible stuff from Visions of Atlantis and Pirates 2. Check them out. They are just, her voice is the voice of an angel, I tell you. Just incredible stuff. Symphonic metal band, Visions of Atlantis, and their brand new release, Pirates 2. And I'm so looking forward to going to sing this band in March this year. And I'm seeing Delane this year too, also in March, headlining their own show. Next up is brand new album from legends from, these guys started in the 60s and they're still going strong. Their guitarist, of course, retired from the band the previous year. But last year they released their brand new album with their brand new guitarist. And when I saw these guys play here in Toronto in August, one of my favorite concerts ever by them. They sounded better than they ever do. The new guitarist blew my mind. What an incredible guitarist he is. I'm talking about Deep Purple, and this is, I guess, a t-shirt from that show, and their brand new album, I believe it's Equals One. And this is the box set version I got of the album, the limited edition box set. So it's got vinyl inside. It's got exclusive live album in here. So you get the studio album, you get a live album, you get CD, T-shirt, a whole bunch of merch. But Deep Purple's brand new studio album, Equals One. Fantastic stuff. Another great outing from Deep Purple, and their new guitarist has definitely breathed life into the band once again. So I really look forward to see where Deep Purple goes if they continue to. And these guys are getting old, but they still manage to put out incredible albums. So Deep Purple, Equals One, a fantastic spin from them. We're down to the final half of the pile here, and let's just keep moving right along. Next up, their return after quite a few years. It's been a while since we've seen a new album from these guys, well before the pandemic. I'm not sure exactly when, but well before the pandemic. This is the fifth outing from this band, which features, of course, Glenn Hughes, Joe Bonamassa, Jason Bonham, and Derek Shernanen, and they are Black Country Communion, and this is their fifth outing entitled Five. That's right, Black Country Communion and Five, straight up old school hard rock. You cannot go wrong. A fabulous spin and a fabulous return for Glenn Hughes, Joe Bonamassa and company in Black Country Communion 5. Definitely one of the top 25 new releases of 2024. Another artist that's back after a long time with a brand new album, and I love this album. Great work. People, Pink Floyd, obviously a legendary band and one of my favorite bands of all time. But I was a Gilmour era Pink Floyd. I was never really big on Roger Waters. I'm not big on his vocals and him as a person. So I really like the Gilmour era of Pink Floyd. I love Gilmour's vocals. I mean, he's one of my favorite guitarists of all time as well. And I've loved his solo work. And David's back last year with a brand new solo album called Luck and Strange. And definitely, he's still got it. A great spin from David Gilmour. This came out in September of 2024. And David Gilmour back with another great solo album. And it's been a long time since David released a solo album. So it's really nice to see him back. Still making fantastic music. Luck and Strange from David Gilmour. Another great spin. Brand new from this artist. And I wasn't a big fan of her last couple albums, but this one hit all the right numbers for me. It hit all the right points. It's fantastic dance pop, and I'm talking about Miss Katy Perry and her brand new album. And this is a limited edition version I have, different alternate cover, etc., of Katy Perry's brand new album 143. That's right, Katy Perry and 143. Some great pop, dance pop. I think this is her best work for quite a few years. It's definitely better than her last two outings, and I really love this album. And this is an exclusive edition. Katy Perry 143. Really great spin. Next up, some more symphonic metal and a brand new album from these guys. This is a concept album. Always nice when people do a concept album. You don't see them as often these days as you used to back in the day. But this is a really great concept album from one of the godfathers of symphonic metal, if you want to say that. One of the legends in symphonic metal history, and we're talking about Nightwish. And this is Yesterwind. That's right, Yesterwind. It's a concept album. Their brand new spin, Yesterwind by Nightwish. Some fabulous stuff. Not much to see in there, but fabulous stuff. Nightwish have returned with a really great spin, and Yesterwind definitely in the top 25 new releases of 2024. Next up, a band that I've championed for a couple of years now, for a few years now, that I discovered maybe 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. And I have everything they've released so far. Their last album was fantastic. And they're back. Their last album was very, very inspired by Phil Spector's Wall of Sound albums. And I recommended this to the vinyl community, and quite a number of people in the vinyl community have followed these guys since I recommended them. They are a husband and wife team. 2 people only. They have just an amazing sound. Old school garage rock, hands down. Old school 60s, early 70s garage rock. This album has a flavor of like 60s Motown almost to it. And this is called The Soul of the Fabulous Corettes. That's right, The Soul of the Fabulous Corettes. An incredible spin from them. Incredible spin. I can't recommend these guys higher. They were my discovery of a few years ago, and I have been a massive fan of these guys ever since. I would love to. I hope they make their way to Toronto one day and I can see them, because I would love to see them. So, The Soul of the Fabulous Corettes. Definitely a must-own. Definitely a must-own. Next up, another symphonic, and they just released a brand new studio album last year, so I was surprised when this one dropped at the end of this year that they actually, bang, bang, 2 years in a row released brand new studio album. This is the 4th studio album from Ad Infinitum and Abyss, and they just had released, and this came out, I believe, in like August or September, and they had just released another one in March of the previous year, so really, really pumping out the albums. Their fourth spin, fantastic stuff. Ad Infinitum and Abyss. Abyss. Some more great symphonic metal from 2024. Great stuff. As you guys see, I'm very much a symphonic metal fan. I've grown to be a big lover of symphonic metal. Next up is a brand new release from this band. It's the second chapter of their Music of the Spheres concept thing that they're doing. And this, in my opinion, is the best work they have done since Head Full of Dreams. I love this band. I'm talking about Coldplay. I love Coldplay. One of my favorite, absolute top 10 favorite artists to come out in the 2000s. And I've got everything that Coldplay's ever done. And I would have loved to have gone to see them this year, but the concert tickets are outrageous. I'm not going to pay $600 and some odd for nosebleed tickets. It's just craziness. That's just craziness. But they have released the second chapter of their Music of the Spheres thing they're doing. I don't know how many chapters are going to be, but this is the second chapter. It's called Moon Music. And this is really, really great. I love this. This is, like I said, probably my favorite LP since Head Full of Dreams. They've had a couple studio albums since Head Full of Dreams. But this one definitely is my favorite spin of theirs since Head Full of Dreams. Moon Music, highly recommend it. One of the best albums of 2024, hands down as well. Next up is a lady, and she was in my top 20 albums of 2023 when she released her Tension album. She did a follow-up album recorded at the same time as the Tension album and released as Tension 2. Which is a follow-up to that album, and it's as good as Tension, if not better. This is straight up dance pop. Kylie Minogue has no signs of growing old anytime soon. She still looks absolutely incredible. Sounds incredible. You cannot go wrong with Australia's Kylie Minogue. Still going strong, and she's more popular than she ever was right now. Tension was a groundbreaking album catapulted her back into the pop spotlight, dance pop spotlight, and got worldwide recognition. And Tension 2 is an incredible follow-up to that. And she even has a few famous guest stars on here. We've got Tuvlo on here, Baby Rexha on here, Sia is on here, and even Madonna is on this album. Fabulous follow-up. I'm seeing Kylie Minogue for the first time ever. She's actually finally hitting North America. I don't think she's done a North America tour in probably 30 years. And she's coming right here to Toronto. I've got a ticket to see her at the end of March, and I'm so looking forward to, because she puts on an incredible stage show. Kylie Minogue, Tension 2. Another lady who's her last album was also during the pandemic in 2020. She's back again, and she's actually got a brand new dance pop album coming out in February. I'm excited to get. I followed this lady right since the get-go, and I'm talking about Lady Gaga, but this is Harlequin, and this was music inspired by filming the Joker movie, which of course she played in. This is a website exclusive cover version of the album. It's got a different cover and colored vinyl than the regular release. These songs were all inspired by filming Joker. There's some jazz on here. It's more of a jazz album than anything. It's got that big bopping band sound to it. It's a fantastic spin. There's a real variety of music styles on here that really showcase how incredible a singer Lady Gaga is. Harlequin, definitely in the top 25 spins of new releases and spins of 2024. Brand new album from an artist that I am a big fan of, and I've talked about many times over the years. Miss Wendy James, originally from Transvision Vamp, the 80s band Transvision Vamp. Wendy James does her own thing now. She's been doing it for quite a few years. She writes her songs herself. She records a lot of the parts of her songs, and she has a band that features members of the Stooges, the Sex Pistols, and other artists. And she's back. Of course, I got the crowdfunder autographed edition, and I've got quite a few autographed albums by her. Wendy James and The Shape of History, and this is another great spin from Wendy James. It's rock, it's alternative, it's punk, it's new wave, it's all over the place. Another great spin from Wendy James, and I think I actually like this a tad more than her last album, which was called Queen High Straight. Maybe a tad more. And it's called The Shape of History. It's a 1 LP with a 10-inch bonus disc inside. So check out The Shape of History by Wendy James. You cannot go wrong. Next up, an album from a band that I discovered this past year that I fell absolutely in love with. They have 13 studio albums, a live album, I think 2 or 3 compilation albums. How did I not know about this band? They have been around since 1990, so close to 35 years they've been around. And I've never seen anybody in the vinyl community ever mention their name or show an album by them. How did these guys slip through the crack? They are a goth glam rock band from Helsinki, Finland. They are called the 69 Eyes, and this is their brand new release from 2024, Death of Darkness. They are the 69 Eyes, an incredible album, definitely in my top 5 of 2024, maybe number 2 even of the year. Absolutely spectacular album. These guys are incredible. I highly suggest you guys check them out. I am going to do a video about them, hopefully soon. I know my video production schedule has not been much in the last few months, but yeah, I do kind of want to do a video about them because I think they're an important band that has not been represented at all in the vinyl community that I've ever seen, and they are incredible. Same guys have been together since day one, producing fantastic rock. It's glam rock. The voice kind of reminds me of the singer of Sisters of Mercy a little bit, somewhere in there. But these guys are incredible. I highly, highly recommend you check them out. I have spent the last few months getting their entire library. Their entire library is not easy to get, but there are some of their older albums have just recently been reissued on vinyl. Some of their stuff is only available on CD, and I've managed to track down most of their library, and I'm thrilled to have these guys in my collection now. The 69 Eyes, Death of Darkness, check them out. If you don't know what you're missing. Death of Darkness, 69 Eyes. And finally, last up on the show, this one is, as far as I'm concerned, the best album of 2024, hands down, by a mile, no questions asked. Blew my mind. I'm a huge fan of this band, And I think this is the best thing they've released since Disintegration. That's right. The best album since Disintegration. What more can I say? I got the 2LP version, 45 RPM 2LP version of the album, which just sounds amazing. I also have it on CD and Atmos. I bought the whole thing. I got the cassette tape and so on. I'm talking about Mr. Robert Smith and TheCure and Songs of a Lost World. Hands down, this is an album that everybody needs to have. It is a masterpiece, an absolute masterpiece, worth the, what is it, 14, 15 year, 16 year wait for their next studio album. Absolutely worth the wait. Songs of a Lost World, my #1 album of 2024. I cannot stop spinning this thing. It is incredible. Like I said, as far as I'm concerned, the best thing that TheCure put out since Disintegration, and a must-have for Cure fans, and a must-have, I think, for anybody. And hands down, album of the year, no question. #1 album of the year, TheCure, Songs of a Lost World. And that's it. That's all. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will be seeing you again very soon in my next video. I do have another video planned to film this week, which will probably release maybe a week or so down the line after this one releases. I'll see you guys again in my next vinyl video. And as I always say, rock and roll!